So apparently Sparrow is just going to sneak into the stream. Mostly what I was doing is I wanted to test out encoding with a new video card, and I wanted to start the new kind of 1 to 32 new player experience mini expansion, and I wanted to record it to catch all the things that I miss actually playing through. This would be convenient for that. So, Hobbit Champion, here we go. No ankle is safe.
Speak, then, of how you came to this place of safety, Rivendell, the last homely house east of the sea. But speak swiftly, before the shadows deepen. From where did your road lead?
And one thing I have heard is that there is actually a lot more NPC voiceover, all of this new content than there is in the original starting stuff. So that's going to be interesting. And all of the options set up that has to be done. Okay, hopefully that should... Oh, and my bags. The 8 million things that I have to do on every new character from having an account that's existed since forever. Thankfully, some of these are just cosmetics I have on every character, and I can simply throw them away. So another interesting thing that they changed, and I don't know if they changed it for everybody or just if you have the new mini expansion, is if any of your characters on your account have unlocked writing, either through the store or by doing the quest when you're a VIP, apparently all of your new characters going forward now just have writing unlocked. So rather than waiting to get rid of all of these auto-gifted mounts out of my inventory, I can do straight off the bat. Yeah. So apparently that's one more thing that has basically been shifted to be from behind a paywall to available in some form to free players. Cosmetic set I can junk. All of the 8 million this year and that year gift boxes. Hammerhand I can junk. The outdoors gives me my pocket item, which I'm just going to go ahead and straight up cheat and use all my XP boost items on this character because Why not? The other nice thing with those is that these two items here, the Outrider's Token and the Shield of the Hammerhand, basically just give me 2 slots that level scale to being decent gear up through their gear cap, which means it's one less thing I have to continually craft or buy for new characters. Don't need the 75 cloaks because the shield does those. I don't even know if you can get this particular starter package anymore, but it comes with a Steely Dawn armor set, which is actually a really cool armor set if you wear heavy armor. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Around then is when it's time to basically stay inside when it's cold and live in Middle Earth for a while. I can definitely see that. Okay. Now to get all of the randomly unlocked emotes and pets and travel skills and all sorts of stuff off of the hotbars, because I just want my actual abilities. Okay, now I actually get to see what the new starting zone's like. With voiced NPCs.
Welcome to Mossworld, traveler.
And apparently my objective is to talk to somebody and learn how to move in an MMO. I think I can manage WASD. Mostly I made a new champ. Oh, more voice acting. Okay, so apparently they might even be giving these guys post-quest and pre-quest dialogue. I've heard that there's a lot of added voiceover and just general voice lines for the NPCs, and well, they're not wrong. And why a new champion? Because one other thing they added in recent updates was they unlocked some additional race class combos, and hobbits can now be champions, which means I have to make a hobbit champion because it is simply too funny to be a little hobbit swinging around swords. Might have something to do with the planned halfling dire lord for Pantheon. And his name is Geralt, but he does not look like a Witcher to me. Okay, go talk to a blacksmith and teaching how to right-click a door to open it. So definitely,
The shop is right there, up those steps.
that's actually interesting. They had the NPC turn around and point at the objective, so they're doing kind kind of more of this animation and the voiceover as opposed to really static NPCs. And first thing you do in an MMO, if somebody says go left, you go right, just to see if there's anything hidden. Which there doesn't appear to be. So this looks like it's kind of just a reworking of all the other intros. Go someplace and pick up your gear. Because I do not have any weapons yet, or any actual armor, other than a leather jacket. If these guys are voiced.
Who's this?
The textures definitely are better done than the old kind of intro quests. The stone floors don't repeat quite so mechanically. You can see that they're definitely repeating patterns, but they're not quite so repetitive. They're better done, and they're larger kind of rubber stamped areas. And the NPC models at least look a little bit better, although this guy's a little creepy. So we're going to wait for him to go behind the counter, and it teaches you how to move the camera to look around.
I suppose Maneldir counts.
I am no adventurer, Scotty.
Well, what are you then?
I was a ranger. It is quite different.
Bah! You won't find a better smithy for miles around, friend. Put your gear on the counter, and I'll fix it up for you.
Yeah, so this is just the redoing of the pick up a bag on the ground and get your gear.
Anyway.
And I have the sneaking feeling that, kind of like some of the later quest lines that span multiple zones,
It's important to
might be meeting the NPCs we're going to be following. All right, they gave a longsword and a knife. So a pair of 4 DPS weapons. And of course, for some reason, I have no idea why it does this, but Lotro always wants to put sword in your offhand, and the knife in your main hand. Yeah, I think it's really interesting that they actually decided that adding voice acting to NPCs and not having them be just little snippets was an emphasis they wanted to do in this zone. I'm curious to see how much it carries forward from here, but from everything I was reading, it's something that they actually really consciously added more of. Maybe just tiny little baby steps towards modernizing some of the Lotro. Okay, well, I already equipped my weapons, so. And this is probably going to be the same thing, like, you know, Light Strider. Yes, you don't want to go into battle without weapons equipped. Yeah, I really like the fact that EG7, since they bought them, has not only made the attempt to wash off some of the Daybreak stink, but also to keep putting money into the game, especially in places where I think it's actually going to do some good. They're talking about performance improvements and doing some of the technical back end stuff coming up, which will really be needed. So he's basically just letting us know that we're in Mossword, which is on the border of Swanfleet, and kind of pointing out that this is not probably where we're originally from.
I do not mean to pry. Your past is your own. My chieftain Strider always said... What is that?
The town bells! Something is amiss outside.
Follow me. Hurry!
Yeah, that is one thing that I think they could definitely do with making more of the tutorial optional. When you've done the tutorial on at least one character before, you get the skip tutorial option, but at least in the base game, it doesn't let you skip all of the tutorial. It just lets you skip the first like 15 minutes of really handholdy stuff. I'm curious to see what it would do if you choose to start in the new zones or you have this, but I wanted to see like start to finish what the entire new experience is.
The town is afire! We are under attack!
Smells like orcs. Okay, so this looks like it's going to be a lot like the human and human and hobbit starting area of Archet, where you get the burning of Archet and follow NPCs through the town defending it.
Look there! We found the villain. Show him no mercy.
One goblin. All right, our quest is one goblin.
That's the way. Well done, my friend. This goblin could not have set so many fires alone.
Yeah, no
There
kidding.
is trouble to the east, Meneldir. I need fighters.
My new friend here is capable and will provide the help you need.
Right, so we have another NPC to follow around.
But what will you do, Meneldir?
I will circle around and search for the one who leads these goblins. Farewell for now.
Rangers. Follow me, my new friend. There will be fighting.
So they've actually given the NPCs, at least the ones we've seen, a little bit more than just the stiff standing and talking animations.
I would not
They give
count
them,
on it.
they're looks like they're trying to give them
What did I
expressive expressive movement within what they can do with this engine. Yeah, this is very much like the original starting intro quests where you're following through a town, escorting an NPC, or
Hillary, I
killing
see
initial
you
enemies
have
and
a
learning how to
visitor.
use your abilities.
I like this one much more than these others.
Me too, Scardy. Come with us.
Okay, yeah, this is very like the burning of Archet then.
Uruks!
But we get Uryx really quickly in this one.
I'm not afraid, Mother.
Not afraid? This rat hasn't heard of the fighting Urukai, boys! The machinery of war has been set in motion. The time of the Orc is at hand.
Mosswood, attack!
Kill them all!
Oh yeah, we should definitely move that. Another thing that's actually interesting is they apparently have started giving characters traits way earlier and more often.
I wasn't afraid.
Oh, Tegwin.
Because I just hit level 2 and I already am being directed to choose a spec and have a trait point to spend. And of course, redline, because always redline. Thank you so much for saving us. These are weird new orcs. Yes, they are. Normally, we don't see them until much later in the game.
What do you make of this?
And that sword is definitely going all the way through the orc. Yeah, it was someplace between 8 or 10 before. It was relatively late in the game, comparatively, because you got through the tutorial at level 6 or 7, and right about there was where you chose which trait line you were going into. And then you didn't get your first trait point to spend until at least the level after that. So, from what I was hearing other people say, they have put that earlier in the game now, and they give you points more often. So it is much more of a constant little progression, like talent trees in other games, as opposed to weirdly spaced out. Another thing that I have heard, and I think this might be it, is I believe when we finish up this little kind of mini instance tutorial here, we get dumped out into the actual real live world just in these zones at level 2, as opposed to then being shunted from the intro into the kind of instanced off starter zone where you complete that next series of quests before you're actually in the real world with other players. So we'll see. So this is straight off the bat introducing the White Hand Oryx. So this probably means that time period wise, this is right as the just a little bit before the events of the Fellowship of the Ring are kicking off, because this looks like all kind of prelude to that. You complete the quest, A Larger World. Oh yeah, this is talk to O'Leary about the Mark of the White Hand, and the rewards are milestone skill and the novice rank. So that's what you get when you basically finish the tutorial. So this is looks like this goes right out into the world. Haven't seen the White Hand before. You got no idea what it is. And Manildir wants us to help the people of Mossward recover. And that probably means that Mossward is the first kind of starting zone. And yeah, milestone and novice rank. Here's the whole, yeah. That is really interesting. So it is definitely no more kind of doing the 1 to 6 to 8 range being sectioned off from the rest of the world. This is a full... I could probably go from here straight to a personal house or anything else. And this is definitely a step up as far as the textures in the starting zones. I know we say it a lot, but yeah, because there's a level 140 player just running through the starter zone here. So definitely we are out in the actual real live world. But I know we say it a lot. If Pantheon, when it launches, has, you know, texture and graphics quality that's more or less of this quality, I'd be cool with that. Okay, so there are a ton of quests here, but he seems to be the main quest giver.
Injuries we cannot heal.
And the always popular, here's a bundle of bandages, go bandage injured townspeople. Yeah, if we could get the graphics quality of Lotro without the lag, I'd be entirely fine with that. I don't honestly know if they can really pull that off in Unity, but we'll see. There's somebody up in the guard tower here. Oh, wow. It looks like this town is tucked away in a little okay, yeah, we are in kind of a little valley of some kind here. Yeah, definitely. If they've got the they've got the storytelling and lore chops to make the world live, and if they had graphics and smoothness of, engine and movement and combat of kind of this general quality, just with better overall performance, I think that would be a good thing to aspire to. Okay, so I can already take a level 5 quest. Defeat wargs at the Howling Stones, which sounds friendly. Ruins to the east. Long been home to a pack of wolves that are more aggressive than expected, or than they normally are. All right, cool. I'd find one more person to bandage someplace in here.
Could I speak with you a moment?
Can you calm my nervous animals? Okay, any game that has an anxious chicken as a quest mob. I failed to calm the chicken. Well, I mean, I'm not a pastoral hobbit, I'm a sword hobbit. And a perturbed cow. Now they're just being silly. But it is now slightly perturbed instead of fully perturbed, so I consider that a win.
How can I be of service?
Oh, and I like the fact that they allude to the help cleaning up the droppings quest and then immediately nope away from it. Quest pop-ups from hitting level 3, and I'm curious, yep, at level 3, another trait point to spend. Keep bumping up that crit chance. Technically, I think yellow line is still the more overall effective for champions, but I like red line, because big numbers are fun.
You look pretty tough to me. You're not scared of anything, are you?
Another hobbit. Bully dared to run to a certain spot in town. She wants to see if it's possible. Okay, so this looks like a timed run quest. Make it to the marked spot on the edge of Wadewater without running out of time. I'm gonna leave this one until a little bit later.
Mossword is a quiet town. It has always been a quiet town.
And this is going to be the standard, I think. Find certain points of interest and use an emote to look to scout them. It's actually kind of nice because it's a quest that basically just points you towards exploring the area. Here's our last person to bandage. Completely missed him.
Thank you for aiding the people of Mossward.
Thank you for right-clicking on 3 NPCs. That's actually interesting. It looks like Manildir is kind of positioned as a ranger who's not a ranger anymore, which they might be doing because they've introduced a new Dunedain or ranger NPC, but then have to somehow explain why when you get later in the storyline and do any of the ranger quests, he's not there, or certainly doesn't recognize you as a character if he's hanging out in the borders. Search an orc corpse, find a scrap of parchment. And some words in orc. Awesome.
Let's see if this parchment holds any clues for us.
Can't read it either, because it's in black speech. Investigate what has excited the children to the northwest. Okay, well, I don't see any excited children this way. Ah, here we are. Because they found the orc sword, and that's totally safe and a thing that kids should play with.
What do you want, stranger? No, I am not giving you this sword.
What's the first thing I need to know to become an adventurer? Next objective, find the defeat circle, i.e., find what happens when you die. That's actually kind of apt. How do we leave Mossward? Can I jump? I can. So what is this? This is what happens when you're an idiot kid who picks up a sword and wants to go on an adventure. You end up here. This is actually interesting, though, because in the kind of base game and the tutorial and what they explain to you, they don't really explain much of how the death mechanic actually works and these kind of defeat circles and that it's morale, that you retreat, etc. So they've kind of, I guess, put in a little explainer here. Okay, go to the blacksmith shop next. Explain buying gear. This is an RPG. Buying gear will be a thing. So this is definitely the same area as the initial mini intro. Now we just have all the NPCs in it because it's not on fire. Oh, nice little crafting enclave here with a supplier, forge, and a workbench. I wonder if there's a study too for scholar stuff. I don't see one.
Scardy spends more time fixing horseshoes than he does forging swords.
So this is basically just explaining repairing, gear, stuff like that. Oh, but he's got a quest. Little extra never hurts, part 2. Oh, this is the... Ah, interesting. So he'll give some points here. Kind of like the original, a little extra something never hurts. But it looks like it gives an actual new mount that is unique to the quest. And if it's a mount, have to collect the mount. Let's see what the little extra steed looks like. Kind of a plain gray horse, or pony in my case. But compared to the old chestnut pony skin, I think it's actually textured better. Yeah, we'll use that for now. That is a beat-up training dummy. I think you guys need a new one.
Now this is more like it.
Oh, and that's fun. Normally, in the quest rewards, they list them top to bottom as light, medium, and heavy. They've reversed the order this time. I imagine that a lot of people who can wear heavy armor automatically click on the bottom one here and accidentally take a light armor quest reward.
you impress me, maybe I'll give you this Uruk sword.
Yes, the standard use your abilities on the training dummy.
That was all right, I guess.
Oh, use 7 strikes on the training dummy. Learn how to be a champion.
Show me one more skill.
Remorseless strike, sudden defense, or blade storm. So basically your trait granted skills that you pick when you get your specialization.
That was pretty good, I suppose.
Alright, so he hands over the orc sword that we take back to the ranger. Or not really a ranger. And apparently, in the time we were gone, all the bodies are cleaned up.
You recovered the Uruk blade from Tegwin before he hurt himself? Very well done.
Alright, he's getting all misty about adventuring, so we'll just take a sword.
I have been away from the land that was my home for many years now.
And collect King's Foil and defeat beasts, so very much like the Arch at starting quest.
The raid on Mosswood by that band of Uruks has left our defenses in a terrible state, friend.
It's interesting, they did the thing where they have the NPCs that looks like just read out the first sentence or two of their dialogue, but there's still a lot of text bombing in the quests. Suitable branches for shoring up their defenses. We'll do that. Like there's a lot more to pick up in town. See if any of them are actually any good. Get the dual wielding swords. Like a proper champ.
You are an adventurer. My husband was once like you, but he gave it
They
up
took an arrow to the
settle
knee.
down.
All right, so Geralt has lost his boot. Baker, what you've got?
Could I speak with you a moment?
All right, deliver food and drink to various NPCs. So this is another run around, find people, and coincidentally explore the area while you're doing it quest. Oh, can't get through that way. Which, while they're a little silly, they do, design-wise, serve to actually have players go out potentially off the beaten path, or at least look at the rest of the area around them. Okay, so this looks like one of the tribesmen that we started meeting around the Rise of Isengard, or a little bit before that expansion. So they definitely seem to be shoving in a little bit of a lot of the kind of plots and peoples that are important later on in the game.
I've heard there are many uses to which unassuming objects might be put.
Right, collect feathers from Crebain, because you have to have a quest to kill them.
Have you been to the Sturvales?
Okay, so this looks like a travel to the next kind of settlement quest. Pick it up because that should get that should kind of give us the breadcrumb to the next area when we're done here type quest. And looks like we're feeding the lookouts in the towers. I wonder if they're going to actually
Greetings, friend.
say anything about the area. Okay, so this looks like mostly just NPC flavor dialogue.
Greetings, friend.
And you've been up here by yourself for too long, because you're making up songs about mutton. Just gonna back away slowly. Yeah, do we still have to be nice to evil birds? Is that a thing?
Hello there.
All right, she's way too excited about getting lunch. Again, gonna back away slowly. Will we get 1 out of the 4 NPCs actually being sensible?
Greetings, friend.
All right, at least one of them is just sensible and thankful for the food. We're good. I imagine we go back and talk to the baker. Right over the chicken.
How can I be of service?
And the ever popular another currency to track and spend in the area. Yes, mounts. I have many mounts. And I have a map. Title and deed. Yes, yes, yes. We know that. What do I have in the mail? Oh, we're not going to do those yet. Leave that on red. Because we're not going to start bingo boffin, and I hate doing the horse quests in Combe. They're just so tedious. New gear still. I want to get rid of some of these. I already have writing, so the other things that have given me writing can go away. More cosmetics to destroy. Yay! Yep, it's coming up on that time of year. Time to vacation back in Middle-earth for a while. I think that should be about it. Now, go out in the world and find stuff to kill. Oh, trait points. It's going to take me a while to remember they're actually giving trait points more or less every level, and I need to go in and do that before I hit level 10. Where is this area? So Mosswood is the very southwest of the zone. And it looks like it's kind of having us just go around the area immediately outside of town. Another change that just came up in these most recent round of updates is the quest tracker has been reset, where you can now track up to 10 quests on it rather than just having your 5 displayed active quests. I'm not sure if that is a good thing or if it's going to drive completionists even more insane because they're going to see more on their screen and stop and go full scroll mode. Okay, so 4 done there. Also, this little village here didn't seem to have any of the like crafting or vocation trainers in it, so I'm guessing they still are going to have that be. Yeah, they do go on your map here. See, all of the different ones are here. And in fact, there are. I think they're probably going to need to actually add more quest colors, because when it gets past the first 5, it just highlights everything else by default in white. But all of these quests here are highlighted on your map. And if I had more than 8, I think number 9 and 10 would show here as well. So that right there, I think for me, is a bigger deal than quest tracker, just being able to have them on the map to show the area. I am curious now. So there's provisions, healer's shop, and blacksmith shop. None of these look like crafting areas, so that's probably not going to be something until the next town still. Which hopefully means that they don't have any gathering nodes in the area I'm going to be running around through, which would make me sad that I couldn't gather them. And as if on cue, copper deposit that I can't do anything with. This annoys me. So this is just the general kill beasts near the town to make the borders safe quest, because you gotta have one of those. Yeah, I am kind of bummed that they put those gathering nodes all around here and don't at least give a breadcrumb trail, saying, hey, if you want to start doing professions, here's where you should go, because there's stuff here. Then again, the other thing is it does give the impetus for people who have basically gone further through the story and questing and leveling, potentially to come back to this area and be around or interacting with lower level characters as they come back here to do some of their gathering. I like being high level and running through the areas around Mickle Delving in the Shire to get copper and rowan. Oh, and here's the Krebane. So, Sparrow, look away. Oh, that's right. I don't have the trait that extends the range of that. I'm used to being a higher level champion. I can't just walk into an area and immediately clear the entire room. Wow, Sparrow. Wow. Oh, this boar. I've killed all the boars I need. Leveled up and got my champion taunt for if I want to off tank. And must remember, point to spend. Nothing I've done so far has given me virtue XP, but that slot's not even unlocked until level 7, so that makes sense. Definitely digging the time of day they've set this general area in, though. It looks like it's set to evening, where it's not fully dark, but it's definitely that kind of dusk time where everything's a little darker than a lot of starting areas that have that kind of, hey, it's bright mid-afternoon. Because one thing this engine actually does do really well are these kind of darker time of day textures. Most zones are set to a permanent time and a permanent date, because they're set to, as you get into them, there's a piece of the story that is happening. For example, Breetown is always set to exist in a certain point in time in the story of the Fellowship. So time of day is often exactly. It's because there are events that'll take place as you go through things. So most zones have historically been kind of frozen in time as you get there. Okay, there's all of my evil birds killed. Oh, and a first bandit type enemy. Gave me a new deed, but doesn't look like he dropped any quest starters or clues to any. Yes, Boar, you're very threatening. I'm very scared of you. I think those were all the kind of general kill and gather quests. Now I have go do specific things on the other side of town. all of these things that I cannot gather is absolutely driving me insane.
Thank you for these branches. I will see to making use of them.
Let's patch up your walls. They're looking
Perhaps you can
shoddy.
help me once again.
Okay, I'm literally being asked to go talk to the blacksmith to find oil to hinge some to oil the hinges of some squeaky doors.
Mosswood is not the only village in Swanfleet. The stable master can help you check on the others.
Okay, so introducing travel using the stable masters, which we kind of laugh about, but at the same time, I have watched so many people pick the game up for the first time and have no idea the stable masters are a thing or how to actually use them. So it's good that they're directing you to actually go discover them and make use of them. I just collected King's Foil for you. Now you want more. Fine, we'll get you more.
What can I do for you?
So let's see what this connects to. Typical. Okay, so it looks like the typical kind of free travel. Oh, this isn't free travel to the other starting areas. So this isn't like Mickle Delving or Celendum or Thorin's Gate, where when you get there, you have your 0 cost to the other starting areas, which means this isn't one of the true hubs. Interesting. So it looks like there's a lot of different Swanfleet, and I think that's the next major zone. Or Swanfleet? Okay, Swanfleet is this region, and Mossford is the town in Swanfleet.
Greetings, friend. Greetings, friend.
And Cardolin is the next region over, that's right. So this connects to a lot of different towns in the area. But it has unlocked already Legger, which is... Okay, that's down to the southeast. So that might be the actual hub town in the area. Check that out. Okay, go get oil from the blacksmith.
Whenever anyone needs something, they come first to me instead of checking the storehouse.
And he's grumpy about it, but yes, he has the right item. A healer shop door, here we are. Open this one we can do from the outside. I've put an end to the squeaking. Wow. And now I need to find Cadogan's house. Suppose I could look at the map, but it's more fun to just wander town. Okay, definitely not over here. I know I can't get through that way. Okay, I don't see Cadogan's house, but I have a quest to turn in here.
There you are. Let us see those feathers.
Alright, so apparently the feathers were not all that impressive to him.
Such musings will have to wait, for winter is approaching and autumn doesn't last.
Collect boar meat, even though I already killed a bunch of boar. Go kill some more. And here is Cadogan's house. Apparently the squeaking from his was not his hinges, it was rats. Because it's not an MMO or an RPG if you don't have to kill rats.
How fared your efforts against the squeaky doors of Mosswood?
Yes, your village has rats. Okay, out in the world to kill boars and do whatever it is that's over here. Actually, level 7, so I want to see if I can find what the actual main town in this area is. Do a bit of exploring of the zone itself proper, so...
Hello there.
Hitch a ride on the stable master, but take the scenic route. See what we pass. So many resources to gather. Area definitely does seem packed with things. Oh, and we're already moving into some higher level beasties, which is kind of nice to see compared to some of the older starting areas that could be a bit sparse, at least just with things moving from place to place. The textures and just kind of layout and feel of this place actually reminds me a lot of the Vale of Anduin area. and the area around Beorn's little encampment there. The house and the areas around it. Makes me think that they pulled in a lot of those newer textures and models and built a lot of this area kind of off of that work. Makes sense if you've already got new stuff built. Don't build an entirely new area from scratch, just reuse those newer, nicer assets. Okay. Oh, those are cool lit window textures too. Not quite as nice up close, but they look really nice from a little ways away. I want to see is if I can find some stuff like town services and a vault and all those kind of things here. But it doesn't give me a zoomed in map, so I'm guessing it might not be that type of settlement. Okay, yep, definitely not a proper hub city. What else is nearby? Yeah, right up the road and unlock the next area. What I'm looking to do is find someplace I can get to bank or town services so that I can get the VIP jug and stuff, as well as... Oh, there we go. Completely missed the bridge. As well as grab some gear and things out of the bank because, of course, I'd rather just over-equip myself. Still not a waterfall and water texture that matches a truly, modern game with high res, but that is a lot better than waterfalls in a lot of the starting and early game areas. Definitely an area where they clearly are using better textures and better animation than they had access to 15 years ago. But the standing water and the reflections and ripples in it are still so good. This whole area is just put together so much better than other early game zones. Definitely have to give them credit for that. Hi, people. We have discovered Glen Helig. somehow go past it? Oh, here we go.
Hello there.
Okay, interesting. Kind of like a cliffside village with hobbit holes cut into the cliff faces and bridges linking them. Definitely a new take on doing hobbit villages for Lotro, at least. But not a lot here for me at the moment. And not what I'm looking for. So I'm going to cheat. I have my milestones set back in Mossword. Just gonna travel to my house. Pop over real quick, grab the VIP thing, and raid my house's chest.
Could I speak with you a moment? Hello there.
Because I want to do all the cheese. House is basically completely barren at this point because almost everything has been moved over to the kin house, but still have my storage chest. Go. Advantage of having leveled crafters and a bunch of saved crafting materials. Cheese my way to a bunch of account-bound crit-crafted gear. Okay, now back to doing stuff outside. I'll still have to pass on the all the gathering items, but I'll live somehow. I wonder where that wolf cave was that they were talking about earlier. I see wolves, but they don't appear to be the correct wolves. I think this is a new squirrel model. I haven't seen these before. If I were wolves, I'd be further south. Perils of Swanfleet. Okay, so this is the zone exploration deed, where it's find all of these different locations. So they did put one of those in here, which is nice. Okay, so this isn't just king's foil, it's very ripe king's foil. I thought king's foil was an herb, so I'm not sure what a very ripe herb is. That's usually more of a fruit thing, but whatever. These look like a lot of reused Lonelands textures here, just slightly recolored. These look like a lot of the kind of fallen rubble that a lot of the fortresses in the Lonelands are built out of. Although it could actually be the textures and pieces, because they have the interior pieces as well, like the bracing inside. This looks more like the stuff they were using in Erebor and the areas around there. The kind of pre-Gundabad areas. Which would make sense. Those would be a little bit newer and more available. And that's actually interesting. Normally these treasure caches are higher level caches in lower level zones that you kind of explore around for and find as a way to take you back into lower level zones and explore through them for the hidden caches. But that's actually an at level for the zone cache collection. I don't think I've seen that before. Okay, there's all of my ripe king's foil. Now I just need to follow warg tracks south into the Howling Stones. Again, pleasantly named. Of course, that's where I am, is in the Howling Stones. Okay, follow the track south. Following the track south, which I did before. Oh, there we go. Just have to find the very end track. Howling Stones Warg, level 9. Alright, go back and tell the dude, yeah, I came, I saw, I kicked its ass. Still need boars, and he's right here. This is around here. So another boar. And that's the last of the boars. I think most of the quests I still... Oh, I need to find a hill and do the emote. I have to find the right hill to look from. Probably it here. Road seems mostly quiet. Yeah, I'll believe that. One little random quest marker up here. And I think that is the missing boot. Always stop and fight things because the Slayer deed is usually worth doing in most zones. Oh, and this is the same type of road design that they used a lot in Dunland and the areas around that. Actually, it's interesting because we had the tribesmen from the Dunland area, the envoy who was here, so I wonder if they're actually trying to connect that early on. Where is this area? So here's Cardolin. Oh, and that makes sense because this is between Bree and Endowaith, where all of that led into Dunland. Okay, duh. That's why we see all those things, because this is a transition zone. That makes a lot more sense why we're seeing things introduced a lot earlier into the game than other areas, because of where it's positioned geographically. Nice spooky river. Someplace around here should be Lost Boot. Sicklefly, which might be a Slayer deed. Nope. Suspicious object in the mud. Old and dirty boot. Okay, excellent. Hopefully he cleans it after we give it back to him. Interesting. I would have expected more Slayer deeds, at least early on in here, but really about the only one I've found so far has been the Footpads and the Urukhais, so Bandit Slayer and Orc Slayer. I don't think I've seen any general wildlife slayers. Might just be because they're wanting to push you out a little further away before you start getting those. Yes, I killed all your boar for you.
Good. This boar meat should help carry Mosswood through some of the coldest winter months.
End of that chain.
All appears quiet.
Yes, I went and scouted a hill for
I
you.
will not relax my guard.
Okay, so it looks like this is going to be one of those kind of chain go
You know
find
the
this
road that
area
passes through
quests.
Swanfleet, of course.
Means I should have done it earlier. And here's some people looking cool.
You found it. He is going to be so happy.
Okay, go give Geralt back his muddy boot. I'm sure he's going to love. Healer's going to want their very ripe King's Foil. So, gotta find out where to spend these iron coins and what they actually get.
What do you need?
And yes, I took care of the warg problem for you. I've learned about auto run. It's one of those things where show me somebody who starts a new MMO and doesn't immediately find and rebind their auto run key.
What is this?
Alright, so apparently he chucked his boot on purpose.
That boot was one half of a pair that was dearest to my heart. They were my adventuring boots.
Oh, that's actually kind of cool. He threw away his boots so that he had a reason to, no, I'm good putting the adventuring life down. I'm ready to be a family man. I don't have my adventuring boots. Everything is fine. Nope. We kind of messed that up for him. But his wife meant well. Oh, have to remember. 3 points unspent. This is going to take some serious getting used to. Extra attacks. Skill crit. That makes me wonder if they have just added more trait points overall throughout the rest of the levels, or if they now just front load trait points. So you get more of them in the early levels and kind of have your build in place more or less by the time you get to a certain point. Check my high level characters and see if they have more points.
You say you saw no sign of Uruk warbands along the road? These are good tidings.
And yet another.
One more request of you, and then I will be satisfied.
Go find another spot out in the world. And this looks like it's just further down the same road I was on. Yeah, this is definitely some like Vales of Anduin and Beorn's settlement vibes as far as the design of it goes and the textures and vegetation they pulled in to make it, which is cool. That's actually a really nice area that does not last nearly long enough when you're playing through it at level. Although it does kind of make me miss Northern Mirkwood. Seeing all of this. But then this here is straight up Dunland and Endawaith vibes. It's kind of jarring to go right from one to the other. Okay, so I hear orcs, but I don't see any white hand markings. Oh, but this now gives me a different map. So this is Cardalin, which would be kind of the next zone on. And of course what that means is I want to go right and at least unlock the next... Oh, red mobs. How red are you? You're level 16, I'm level 9. Let's not. Yeah, Woodcutter, you are on your own. And that's a broken bridge, so yeah, mistakes were made. I thought that was going to be a bridge I could ride across into the next zone. It's not. It's definitely not. Okay, so another zone kind of meta deed here. Discover plaques and scrolls. So this looks like basically discover points of interest. There's probably a lot of interactables in this general area to find and use. Chance to pick up a bunch of little lore bits. All this because I wanted to unlock a stable master. Okay, there's another level 16, no thank you. The map definitely lies. It makes it look like that was a road I could easily get through, and not so much. Which is kind of cool. But this does give a pretty good indication of about what level you're expected to go from the Swanfleet area I'm in now and the next kind of zone over. Is it looks like the mobs start around level 16, so that's probably the expectation. Level 20. Hopefully it's not aggro. Level 15 Trapper, we'll just ignore you. Okay, there should be a camp over here. And this seems to be a popular spot. Cool.
How can I be of service?
And I can get back to Mossward, so that's good. NPC playing music around the fire.
Greetings, friend.
Let's just go back to Mossward. Definitely not supposed to be here yet. Okay, go tell her I scouted the last point on the road.
There are orcs crawling throughout Tharbod.
I think she was mostly just concerned that this was maybe more white hands, but they're just regular orcs, so she's okay with it. And I think that is the last thing I have in this general area, which means I am going to go ahead and call it here. I need to go check on food. Sparrow and Bounty, was good to see you sneak in here. Sneaky sneaky.